You picked up your phone this morning and, well, the first thing you did before brushing your teeth, before eating, before even being fully conscious, let's just be honest, was open an app. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever your poison is. And within 30 seconds of waking up, you'd already seen 3 people living a better life than you, or better yet, getting blown up, killed, or maimed in some horrific way before you'd even gotten out of bed. That's where your day started. And you don't even think about it anymore because it's so normal, it's almost invisible. I want to talk about what social media is actually doing to your 20s. And I'm not going to pretend I'm above it. I'm on my phone just as much as anyone else. But I think that's exactly why this matters. Let me describe a cycle you're going through to recognise, because you do it almost every single day and maybe don't really even realise it. You open Instagram, someone you went to school with just posted from Bali, someone just got a new car, someone's engaged, someone's launched a business and it looks like it's thriving, and now you're lying in your bedroom that you rent in a job you're not 100% sure with, savings, you'd rather not really look at, feeling like everyone's moving and you're just stuck. That took 45 seconds. And it'll affect your mood for the next 3 hours. Your parents never had this. When your dad was 24, he had no idea what his schoolmates were doing. They could have been millionaires, they could have been absolutely broke, they could have been on drugs. God forbid. He didn't even know, and he didn't care because there was no mechanism showing him. He just lived his life, compared himself to the people in his actual room, made decisions based on what was in front of him, not what was on a screen. We're the first generation with quite literally a real-time scoreboard for life. And it's running 24/7. You can't turn it off because turning it off feels like falling behind. And every time you check, you feel a little bit worse. And feeling worse makes you check more. That's not a habit, that's an addiction cycle. And nobody designed it by accident. Here's a number that'll probably bother you a little bit. The average person spends probably somewhere around 3 to 4 hours a day just looking on social media. 3 to 4 hours a day. That's roughly 25 hours a week. Over 1,000 hours a year. If you spend that time learning a skill, you'd probably be almost an expert in it or be really competent in that area. If you spent it building something, it would be built. If you spent it on literally anything with a return, your life might be totally different. I'm not saying this from some moral high ground. I checked my screen time last week and it's generally, I wanted to throw my phone in the bin. It's that bad. And the worst part isn't even the hours. It's what you get from those hours. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You don't remember what you scroll past. You can't name a single post from yesterday. 4 hours of your life every single day evaporating into content you won't remember by bedtime. And here's the thing that really kind of gets me. We all know this. Every person watching this right now is nodding, yeah, I know, I'm on my phone so much. We all know, and we keep doing it anyway, because knowing something is a problem and being able to kind of stop that problem is 2 completely different things, especially when the problem was designed by the smartest engineers on the planet to be as hard to stop as possible. But the comparison and the time aren't even the worst part. The worst part is what it's doing to your sense of self. Social media doesn't just show you other people's lives. It quietly rewrites what you think your life, should be. 10 years ago, success at 24 meant having a job and a car. That was solid. You were doing well. Now, success at 24 means a couple things. Being a founder, having a side hustle, travelling, being fit, having a relationship that photographs well, not just works well, posting constantly, and building a personal brand. But the bar didn't just move. It got launched into space. And the people who set that bar, most of them are either lying or they're the top of the 0.1% being represented to you as if they're normal. So you're walking around with this invisible checklist of things that you're supposed to do, be, have, and do by 25. And you didn't write that checklist. Instagram wrote it for you. TikTok wrote it for you. And some guy with a ring light and rented furniture wrote it for you. And you're measuring yourself against a standard that was never real in the first place. But it feels real. That's kind of the whole trick. It feels so real that you forget you didn't come up with it yourself. Your actual goals, the ones that matter to you, not to your feed, are buried under a pile of other people's highlights. And the longer you scroll, the deeper they get buried. And then there's this loneliness thing, which is wild because social media was literally invented to connect people, which is kind of ironic. There was this whole pitch: stay in touch, share your life, be closer to people you care about. And somehow we've ended up lonelier than any generation before us, because there's a difference between connection and, well, content. Watching someone's story isn't a conversation. Liking someone's post isn't a friendship. Knowing that your old mate you had dinner with last Tuesday because it appeared on your feed isn't the same as actually talking to them. We've replaced depth with, well, breadth. We know a little bit about a lot of people and a lot about, well, nobody. I've got mates I haven't spoken to in months, but I could tell you exactly what they've been doing because I've seen their posts every day. And somehow seeing those posts makes me feel like we're still in touch. Well, we're not. We're just in each other's algorithm. And there's a massive difference between being in someone's life and, well, being in their feed. Social media gave us the illusion of closeness, and the illusion is just good enough that we stop doing the real thing. Why call someone when you can watch their story? Why meet up when you can just react to their post? Every shortcut we take moves us further from the people we think we're close to. And nobody notices because the screen makes it feel like enough. Until, well, one day it doesn't. And you realise you've got 800 followers, maybe even 1,000, maybe 10,000, maybe 20,000. And nobody to call at midnight. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to delete everything. I haven't, and I'm probably not going to tell you to go on a digital detox, because you'll last 3 days, you'll re-download everything, and, well, quite frankly, we all know that, even including myself. But I think there's a middle ground that nobody talks about because it's not dramatic enough for YouTube. It's just awareness. Notice when you're scrolling on autopilot. Notice when a post changes your mood. Notice when you open an app without even deciding to. Just notice, because the second you start seeing the pattern, that pattern loses a bit of its power. And do one thing: replace one scroll session this week with something real. Call someone instead of watching their story. Work on something instead of watching someone else work on something. Go for a walk without your phone. Just one time. See how it feels. Because I think most of us have forgotten what it feels like to be somewhere without really documenting it, consuming something without sharing it, or just existing without checking how everyone else is existing first. Social media isn't going anywhere, but the version of yourself that existed before it had this much power over you, the person is still there. They just need the screen time to come down long enough to just remember. I'm going to check my phone within a few hours of uploading this. I know that. You know that. That's the kind of the whole point. Knowing the problem doesn't make you immune to it, but it gives you a choice. And in your 20s, choices are kind of everything. Drop a comment with your screen time average. Be honest, there's no judgment. I've already told you mine. It's almost 3-4 hours a day, which is nuts. So let's see who's winning, or, well, losing, depending on how you look at it. So subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.